Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am going to show you how I make mayonnaise. Somebody wanted to see a video for the actual steps, more than one of you. So I brought you over to the stove so you can actually see every step and exactly what everything has to look like. Now I get on my news feeds people saying you can make mayonnaise, you stick it in a jar, you blend it up with the lemon and stuff, and you got mayonnaise. But you got to keep that in the refrigerator. I made mayonnaise like that. I've tried 100 recipes, if I've tried 5 of them. And every time you take it out and you put it on the table and you leave it for a little while, it separates. It always does. Now the mayonnaise that I've been showing people how to make, and I even showed one for people who were gluten intolerant, how to make it with cornstarch that they can have. I changed the ratios around so it would work for them, no problem. Now when I make a mayonnaise, it's going to be a cooked mayonnaise, and it is stable. It's like, if you want to say like Hellmann's, it can sit out like Hellmann's. It's just that good, and it doesn't separate because I've cooked it and I've used a binder in it as well. So now I'm going to walk you through all of this in a little bit. Now I want to talk about, I by accident typed in a title. I said cream of tartar sauce. Okay, it was supposed to be tartar sauce, and somebody corrected me and said cream of tartar sauce is made from the byproducts of wine. I have known that for years, that it was byproducts. That cream of tartar is a byproduct of wine making. And this person also stated that it was a stabilizer. It's somewhat of a stabilizer, but not the greatest, because if you go to make your own baking powder, which the ratio is a 2 to 1, it's 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar and it's a half a teaspoon of, I'm having to remember, cream of tartar, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda equals to 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now the one Now the one that I make has cornstarch in it, a baking soda, and cream of tartar, and that's the one I use. If I'm going to use it, I have to be careful because if the recipe says it wants baking soda and baking powder, I'm in trouble. Now, the ones you buy in the store have aluminum in them. Now, aluminum is a metal, and they said our government, our lovely governments, sit there and say you can have it, but you get it in small quantities and it won't hurt the body. They don't know that. They have no idea what it does to the cellular levels. I use it to show you, but when I get done with mine, I plan to make my own, and I'm going to have to readjust recipes and things that I do a little different. But no, nobody knows what aluminum does to the body. But we do know over long terms, when the government starts playing, they took folic acid out of the grains and stuff, they had to put it back in. There's a lot of stuff that's missing in our food that's supposed to be there, but I don't think aluminum. But the government says, oh, it's okay, you can just put a little, you get a little bit and it won't hurt you. But a little bit builds up time after time after time after time after time. And then in the cellular level, something goes terribly wrong on a lot of those cells, and then you end up with diseases. So our government doesn't always seem to have the best for our health. So you pretty much have to take it on to yourself. I mean, you don't know what they have done to our foods. They take out all the vitamins and minerals and amino acids, and they put 5 or 4 in, and they say, it's nutritious. They should say nutritious, but minusing, and then you would see. But anyway, let's get on to making mayonnaise. You're going to need 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Please do not use whole wheat. Already tried it. Doesn't work. You won't like the taste of it, okay? You just need 1/3 of a cup of flour. You're going to put this in a saucepan because remember, this is a cooked one, so the eggs will be cooked for the person that said he's terrified of eating raw eggs. People who eat raw eggs usually have a B2 deficiency. Okay, because that's what eggs cause. It causes the B2 not to be absorbed into the body. I guess a raw egg once in a while might be all right, but if you do it all the time, you find that this will be a problem. Now this sauce that we're making here, when we blend it in with the eggs are going to cook because this is going to be super hot. Now you need 1 teaspoon. Oh, dear God, how did I get that in there? Well, knowing me, everything I do. You need 1 teaspoon of white sugar, just regular old sugar. I have used kelp, but because I'm showing you how to make this, I'm going to use regular salt, but I usually make mine with kelp. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, I'm running out of the other mustard, but you can use Coleman's or regular dried mustard. Either one works. I've used them both. You need a teaspoon of this as well. Now, what you have to do is you have to mix this thoroughly up so you don't have any lumps. So you can see that I'm actually going to, now I'm going to have to bend you over here because I really want you to see everything that I'm doing. So I'll be talking you through some of this, and I'll be showing you exactly what has to go on because that's what this person, a couple of people have asked me to show them. So mix this up thoroughly. They'll tell you, you have to mix this up thoroughly. Now, in a measuring cup, now I have used white vinegar, I've used apple cider vinegar, I have used lemon juice, and I have used lime juice. And any of these that you use are going to affect, just like the oil, whatever oil you use will affect the taste of your mayonnaise. I'm going to use corn oil so it has more of a bland taste today, and I'm using lemon juice. But if you don't have lemon juice, you can dang well use lime juice. You can sit there and use white vinegar, and it'll still stay bland. If you want a little more of a twang, you can sit there and add the apple. If you have rice vinegar, I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not sure how it will work, but it might work quite well. But anyway, you need 1/4 of a cup. I'm not going to say lemon juice, but I'm giving you a variety of what you can use. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, that finished up my lemon juice, didn't it? Okay, now to that lemon juice, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of cold water. Pour it into this powdered mixture. This is where it gets, you want to be really careful. Now you're going to mix this up. We're not even turning the heat on yet. We're still, just mixing this up before we get to that point. Make sure that you get into the corners. Make sure that mustard is broken up, because it will. You'll have lumps of mustard in your mayonnaise, and you don't want that. So this is where I really just take a whisk and just work it to as small as I can to where they break down. Now, when you heat this up, it's going to be sticking in the corners, so make sure that you do take your spoon and go into the edges of your pan. This is why you see me stirring around and around and around. Let me use a spoon. Okay, we're going to turn the heat on now. We are going to bring this to a boil, and you'll be able to see the texture of it so you have a better idea. So just keep an eye out and you'll see how it starts to lump. I'll try to bring you closer in so you can see this. So the person who wishes to learn, it's right here. Let me see if I can turn this a little more. There. Okay. See, it's already starting to get thick. It's starting to get lumps. You see them floating around. Don't worry about it. You just keep on stirring it. Okay, now we're going to time this exactly 1 minute stirring because it will burn. You don't want it to. And you're actually cooking it. See how it's looking? It's coming out really nice. By cooking this whole minute, it's going to really hold your mayonnaise together very, very nice. Now, because this is so hot, we're going to be putting this into the eggs. Let me move you back so we can get further into this. Let's see. Now, remember, this is very hot, and we're going to be working with it in a bowl. You need 2 eggs. In that measuring cup, you are going to pour 1 cup of oil. I have used safflower, sunflower, all blend, olive oil, corn oil. These are the oils I have used, but you need 1 cup of oil. Gonna need a hand mixer. Let's see, both are on the same line. Let's see. Hope it doesn't interfere. Okay. You beat these eggs really good. Turn this down some. You know the hot stuff we just did, flour. You start adding it in and mixing it thoroughly before you add another spoon in. And this is cooking your egg. This is why you only add so much at a time. And you blend it right where it's at. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed before you add more. See how your eggs are getting thicker? this out. So please wait a minute. Only have a little left, but get it in. Thoroughly in, and you'll see how thick and creamy it is. Now you're going to start adding your oil, but not a lot. As you can see, I work it in a little bit at a time and just keep on working it in and working it in. I want to make sure it emulsifies together in here and it does not separate. That's why you cook that flour mixture, and then it cooks the eggs and it binds all this together, so you don't have to worry so much about it coming apart on a hot day, and you have to keep it in the refrigerator. That's why I hate these short videos that they're putting out and everybody says, oh, I can make it, and then they end up finding out that they have to throw something out because steps are left out or it's not done properly. That's not helping people learning how to cook, which is really important. And the government is saying that we're so stupid, we have a short attention span and we don't have the time to watch these videos. Well, this country and the government didn't put so much stress on the families, we wouldn't be so stressed out. But the only way you can deal with stress is you're going to have to eat well and careful. Make sure you get your rest, but they put all these things that hinder us. Oh, here, come go drinking, or here, let's take some drugs that'll lower your stress factors out. When people used to get angry and stressed, they went and worked. They go out and grow land or chop down a tree and build furniture. Remember to go in the kitchen. You can make bread. Believe you me, you could burn up a lot of hostile energy doing that. And then you come out and feel so much better. Instead of having to scream and yell and storming out and doing all these other things. Society's putting the stress on us. It's not supposed to be that way. When I was married to my husband, every day before I went to work, I gave him a kiss, told him I loved him, and I'd see him when he came back. And when he came back, I was happy to see him. I gave him a hug and a kiss. After like 6 months, he said, why are you doing this? I said, because I don't know if you're coming home. I don't know if you'll make it home. Something could happen and you could be dead. I want you to know how I feel before you head out. And he thought it was an insecurity. It wasn't an insecurity. I just wanted him to know that, you know, I don't know if you're coming back. You could have a car accident and be dead, you know. You could be at work and get stuck with a needle and end up with HIV or something, you know. You just didn't know. You could be robbed, mugged. And he just laughed at me and said, Sandy, I'm trying. And I said, I know, but there's always somebody bigger and badder than you. Now you're going to blend this last part in. And that's how you make mayonnaise. Isn't that nice? Could you imagine doing this by hand? I think I would die. My husband and I tried it. We even had our sons whipping it. We were all tired. We ate out and we couldn't do it. And that's because I didn't have a hand mixer at the time. That's how mayonnaise is made. Now what am I going to do with this? I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Get a canning jar, and I'll be right back. Now, this mayonnaise will last to the expiration date of your eggs. So always make sure you check those dates on your eggs. And you can see it's nice and thick. And I could leave this out and totally know that if I put it in a macaroni salad or something, I could leave it out on a picnic table outside on a warm day and know it's not going to separate. And like I said, I tried all those other ones that people show on the short video. As long as you keep it in the refrigerator, it's fine. Homemade mayonnaise. I guarantee you will not be disappointed with the taste or the flavor of this. But remember, whatever oil you use and whatever vinegar you use is going to affect the flavor of your mayonnaise. So if you want a bland mayonnaise, make sure you use a very mild oil and a vinegar that doesn't have any added flavors like wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar. So take care. Bye-bye.